So, is it possible to get the world famous Soldano Slow 100 at a fraction of the cost?
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Yo guys and dolls, welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old school, you know what we're about by now. So you if you've been watching the channel for a while, will know my love, my lust, my passion for the Soldano SLO 100. It's kind of on every album I've ever loved. But they're bloody expensive. You're looking for the 50 watt head is like $3,000 now. For the 100 watt head, like 4,700, nearly £5,000. It sounds crazy saying that out loud. $5,000 for a Soldano. However, we do have options. So I went down the plug-in road. So I got the Neural DSP Soldano. I've been using Soldanos inside Helix for a while. Nambrini, they do a nice Soldano model. There's a few kind of Soldano emulations. You can also Tonex and get someone who has a Soldano to give you a Tonex model. Do they sound good enough though? Who knows? That's in the ear of the beholder. But there's another option. There's a company called Synergy, and these guys have been around my world for some time, and I just haven't really paid attention to them. But when I started thinking seriously about getting myself a Soldano, I thought, well, I'll have a little review of this. So I checked out a few videos, and by all case in point, it appears that the Soldano in this bad boy is almost identical to a Slow 100. A lot of people have run them back to back, and they do sound exactly the same as far as I'm concerned. Now, the only issue with this being, one, it's an initial outlay. So I think the preamps themselves are about 350 quid, and then for the actual box itself, like the Sin 1, I think they're about maybe 500 quid. So you're looking at nearly 1,000 quid straight away. That is still half the price of a Slow 100. It has the ability to run out into the effects loop of your favourite amp, therefore being a Soldano inside the amp that you love. It will also run out DI. It's got an effects loop. It literally has got everything you would ever need it to have. It's got a Cab Emulator on there as well if you want to run direct in. A foot switch, which looks like this, which controls bypass or your channel switching. And plus, it's not just a Soldano. Then, for another 350 quid, you can get an Engel. For another 350 quid, you can get a Friedman Brown Eye. For another 350 quid, you can get a Dietzel VH4. All a fraction of their £2,500 to £3,000 entrance fee. That to me then seems like a no-brainer. Plus, it's relatively easy to sheath these preamps. So you just unscrew these little things, which don't have to be screwed in, by the way, and then you just give it a little. It's hard to do from here because you should really have two hands, and pull it out like a cartridge, and it's basically like a Super Nintendo of tone. This is now the brain of the thing. So it's got two 12AX7s in there. It's got a switch that allows you to affect stuff. I don't know what it actually does. I'll need to have a play around with that actually. So it's like maybe a gain switch or something. I'll figure out what that is. And then you've got your two channels with a shared EQ. Some of the preamps have got massive amounts of options, but this being the Soldano is just fizzywig, whizzifig. What you see is what you get. Right, and then when you're ready to go to town, you just drop that in. Right, don't do it backwards. And it's as easy as that. So that just fits straight in there. Right, okay, so we're going to try and hear this thing in 3 different environments. We're going to hear it through my, you won't be able to see it, my Fryer power station. So this is basically a Fryer company. Steve Freya and the guys over at Friedman and Soldano have all kind of got a part in this, hence the Synergy name. So I'm going to be running through my Freya power station into a Laney 112. I'm going to be miking up with an SM57 and I'm going to record that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it out of the Cab Emulated line out, and we're going to see what it sounds like directly into my DAW. Then I'm going to run it without the Cab Emulator. I'm going to run it into 2 notes wall of sound, and I'm going to put my favourite IRs on it and see what that sounds like. And that's it, and hopefully it's a Soldano for a quarter of the price. Okay, cool, let's get to the sounds. I'm not going to tweet through all of the EQs and stuff. There's much better people out there on YouTube doing that. I just want to hear the 3 different tonal applications. So let's go first with the amp mic'd up. So currently this setup is direct from the Synergy into the power station. And that's it. So it's running a bit of presence and a bit of depth, which we could EQ. And then we've got the deep in and the edge in. So what I'll do to make that a bit more, make that a bit easier, I'll put that on flat and that on flat, right? So you get nothing now, just volume and a bit of presence and depth, right? So this is the sound of that through the rig. Do that. So here we are at the door. So I'm basically running directly in, out into the power station. The power station's running flat, and then I'm running out into the 112 GS 112 Laney, into a 5150, into a SM57, directly into the door. No EQ, no nothing, just as it is. 2 channels. So I'll go through just the crunch channel first. So this is the way I'd have a Soldano kind of set up. So this is what this would sound like. Okay, so straight away that's pretty great sounding. It's quite loud in the room though, I'm not gonna lie. Let's look at what a front pickup situation would sound like. Okay, so it sounds pretty badass. Let's just add some effects to that. Ooh. So, quite a bit of reverb. Oh, hello. Quite a bit of reverb, quite a bit of delay. Just so much 80s guitar tone. If a real Soldano sounds any better than that, god damn. Because that, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect. It is a perfect tone. Now, because it's a real amp, let's just see how that rolls down. So we're just going to roll the volume down a little bit. Is it a perfect clean? No, it's still rather crunchy. So let's try the other channel now. So this is going to be what I would consider to be like my low gain channel. I'll just get rid of those delays. So it's not low gain at all, but that is pretty much the lowest gain you can get out of this soldano. There isn't a clean channel, which I suppose is a downside. Maybe that little thing is a gain stage button, I don't know. But that's about as clean as it gets. If I roll that down, however, not so bad. Got a bit of a delay on that as well. Doable, you know what I mean? That's not a bad sound, but you do have to do a lot of guitar-ness. Right, okay, so we've been through the tones on a real amp. Let's now go through it as a DAW thing. So we're just going to go directly into the DAW using its own IR. Right, so after a discovery, we are now back into the DAW, just direct into DAW using the internal Cab IR. Now, the discovery I've found is the main out, the non-XLR, just the 1/4" jack, does not support the cab. It's only the XLR that supports the cab, so you're gonna have to drop a cab into your block. Whatever you're doing, if you're running a cable, a normal cable. However, if you're running an XLR cable, it does have a cab emulator on it. So I'll turn that off and turn it on for you. Right, so this is what it sounds like with it on the high gain channel. Now these are exactly the same settings I had from the cab. Nothing's altered. Now this is what it sounds like with the cabinet emulator off. As you can hear, it's bloody horrible. Right now, the weird thing about it also is when the buttons are out, they're on. When they're in, they're off. Which I don't quite get, but hey, it is what it is. Right, okay, so here is the high gain channel again. So cool, here is the low gain channel. With a different pickup and a volume roll down. And then high gain with all of the delay and all of the good stuff on it. Sounds really good still, just the box, nothing going on. Right, next one we're going to do is going to just turn the cab emulator off, and we're just going to engage another cab sim. Just the volume up on that. And then with the less crunchy sound. Oh, sorry, more crunchy sound. It sounds really, really good. So that wasn't 2 notes though, by the way. That was just me dropping an IR into Helix Native. 2 notes, we could totally get into a whole new bunch of things. So that was the Synergy Soldano through a cab, through its own internal IR, and then through a third-party IR. All very usable tones. That's the good thing about this. That isn't bad at all. Every one of them sounded great. Okay, cool. So what do you think of the Synergy system? I think if you're after a whole bunch of amps, and you don't want to carry around a whole bunch of amps, I think for a studio, this would be absolutely ideal. The fact that I can get a Soldano for 800 quid, and then I can get a Herbert, a diesel Herbert, and I can get a Engel Fireball, and I can get a Friedman Brown Eye, and I can get a like a Messer Mark II, all for £350-ish. That's just the bargain of a lifetime for me, I think. So for a Studio 8, I think it's absolutely a godsend. So well done, Synergy. Sorry I've took so long to find you, but you're very, very good. Right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this, and you can check out this system, because I do think it's like modelling. It's analog modelling. Good stuff. Right, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace.